My name is Christine, and something horrible happened to me. It was such a scary experience that even now, I'm still too terrified to tell people what happened. I've lived with my grandfather, Xavier Davenport, after my parents died in a plane crash. I was devastated when I heard the news. I fell into a depression driven by grief. My grandpa did everything to try and lift my spirits, and he was patient with me. By the time he finally helped me navigate through the hardest of my grief. He has always been a kind, funny, sweet grandpa to me. He always treated me with so much love and would tell me stories about the time from when he was a soldier. Isn't that cool? Living with him has always been amazing, even though sometimes it could be hard since he lost his sight completely. He was injured in the attack, despite efforts to save his right eye, which had shrapnel in it. There were moments where he needs my help, but for the most part, he can do things by himself. He always says, "Don't let your blindness determine who you are," which makes him the coolest. He is the hero of this story. Remember this. Now that you know about my grandfather, you need to know about the rest of the story. This is where everything gets all ugly and scary. Don't say I didn't warn you. Anyways, I had this huge crush on a boy named Kevin. He was so cute and had the prettiest smile I had ever seen. Oh, how excited I used to get when we passed each other down the hallway. I could feel my face become all red and my stomach was full of butterflies. But whenever I tried to talk to him, he always ignored me. He never really paid attention to me, which made me frustrated and sad. I felt like there was something wrong with me. Why couldn't he like me? It was horrible for me. Was it because I wasn't pretty or nice? There were nights I cried so hard because of him. Then one day, something in him changed, and he actually started to talk to me. I know, you may be thinking that this was suspicious, but I didn't know what he was planning at the moment, so I didn't realize that it was odd behavior. All I wanted was for him to like me back and care about me the same way I cared about him. So when I started to, I thought that my luck had gotten better and I didn't want to scare him away. Instead, I went with it. After we started talking, he told me, "I love you." I was so shocked to hear that. Kevin loved me? I thought he didn't care about me, and all this time he had a crush on me. My heart was racing as I told him I loved him too. He smiled at me and pulled me into a big hug, holding me in his arms. This was the happiest I had ever been, and all I could do was smile. When we pulled away from the hug, he told me, "Don't tell anyone about us or our relationship, okay?" That was weird to me, but all I could do was nod. Why didn't he want people to know about us? I said, "Okay." After that, Kevin and I started to go out. We went on dates and it felt like we were a real couple. He treated me so nicely and bought me cute little presents like a teddy bear and a necklace. I was so in love with Kevin and so happy with our relationship. As we went on a date, Kevin stops and looks at me. Confused, I asked him, "What is it?" "Want to go to my house?" he asked. At first, I was a little shy and scared to go. I mean, he was my first boyfriend. Was I ready to go all the way with him? But since I thought he loved me, everything would be okay. What could go wrong? Surely everything was going to be okay, right? Oh, how wrong I was. I wish I knew what was going to happen, but sadly, I didn't know. "Sure," I said. "Let's go." I never even told my grandpa I was going to his house. He didn't even know I was dating him, or that I even had a crush on him. I was too scared to tell him, and I thought he was going to tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to see Kevin, so I hid my relationship from him. I did as Kevin asked and never told anybody about us. When Kevin and I went back to his house, he and I were sitting in his room. He asked me, "Do you want something to drink?" "Yes, please," I said. As the sweetheart he was, he got up and went to get me some water. When he was gone, I opened his laptop and saw that there were pictures of me. I was so shocked. There were pictures of me in my home, at the park, and some private pictures of me. How could this be? Then I realized they were taken on a drone camera. Kevin was spying on me this entire time. Why would he do such a thing? Why would he do this to me? When Kevin came back, I opened the laptop and said, "What is this? Why were you spying on me?" "I was hoping you wouldn't find that," Kevin said, darkly. He sighed. "This sucks." Before I knew it, he was fighting with me. I struggled as he tied me to a chair. I couldn't move or fight back. There was nothing I could do. I watched as Kevin pulled out his laptop and called someone. It was an evil man from the dark web. I was terrified for my life as I saw that he wanted to sell me to the man. How could someone do such a thing? Tears slipped down my face as I begged for my life. I said, "Please, don't do this. Please." I thought this was going to be my last day alive. There was nobody to help me. I kept our relationship a secret from everybody. I never even told my grandfather that I was going to be here, so he couldn't help me. I had no one, no friends, and no family to help me. I could have sworn that I was about to die, and all I could do was cry and hope that someone was going to come in and save me. And someone did. My grandfather barged into Kevin's home, kicked down the door, and hit him with a stick over the head. He was like a soldier all over again. It was amazing seeing him in action. After he knocked Kevin out, he untied me from the chair. I cried so much as I hugged him and said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." My grandfather told me he was following me all along to make sure that I was safe and nobody could hurt me. I was so grateful he was doing that. If he wasn't, I was sure that someone was going to come by me or that I was going to get killed. He saved my life. "We have to call the police," my grandpa said. So we did. We told them everything that happened, and they sent a bunch of officers to Kevin's house. They arrested him. I was relieved as they took him away in handcuffs, knowing that he could never hurt or spy on me ever again. My life was no longer in danger because of him. I glared at him as they were taking him away. Before they put him in the police car, he stopped and explained to the police why he did what he did. "I had to do it," he said. "My parents left me and I needed the money. Somehow, I found myself on the dark web, and someone offered me a lot of money if I kidnapped the girl." "Why me?" I asked, still shocked at everything. "I spied on you with my drone, and I thought you were perfect for this," he explained. "You live with your grandpa, and he's blind, so I didn't think it would be a problem." After he told the police everything, they took him away in the car, and I never saw him again. I hugged my grandpa and told him that I was glad he was with me. I would tell him everything next time, and I will never hide anything from him again. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have survived this.